Yeah, I mean, I started my DJing career at a very young age. I used to listen to like YFM. My brother used to collect a lot of compilations and vinyls, So that's where I can say the love of the music started, and I literally was that boy that didn't have any ambitions of being a doctor or like an engineer or want to go to space. I literally didn't know what I wanted to do. And I felt weird because at school people would be on some, yeah, I want to be an engineer, and I'd be on some, yeah, I want to be I don't know, nothing interested me, nothing made sense to me. I did not have any in, interest in anything else but something that I didn't know existed, And I think there was some sort of a calling at that time, but obviously because I was still very young, I didn't know what it was. As time went on, like I gravitated towards my brother and his music collection and what was playing on radio. YFM at that time was quite huge. It had just come out. There was this new international sound that was booming. Like the interest of what um, Frankie Knuckles was doing, Louis Vega. They were coming to South Africa for shows, Electric Workshop, and I could see like the hype around my brother and his peers when they would used to go out on weekends, and I was like, what is this thing that people are so happy about to go to, And they're like, yeah, it's like festivals and gigs and clubs, And I was like, maybe one day I want to go see what this thing is. And luckily, in my hood, Tembisa, there were these small things called stockfields. We all know what stockfields are. So there were stockfields, and I remember I was still about 11, 12ish, and I used to go to these stockfields because there were like DJs that were playing there. And I used to be that boy that would sit next to the speaker like this while the DJ is there, just looking over and checking what the DJ was doing. And I was like, damn, this thing is like so cool. Like you sort of like in charge of the party. If you switch off the music, people literally stop and stare at you. When you play a good song, people like vibe with you. And for me, that was like the sort of command I wanted, like that sort of gravitated towards me. I was like, I think this is what I want. It's something that's fun. Obviously there are a lot of girls around and you've got like an entourage, which was quite cool at that time, and I sort of got into it and I was like, okay, maybe I need to try this thing out. I was 11 at the time and it was just about playing the music and that was it. And I kept going to these stock fails. And obviously, because I'm chilling next to the DJ, you sort of like get to see the routine. It's like, okay, he's got a vinyl, he gets he gets a different vinyl, puts it on the turntable, he puts the needle there. So like as I'm watching, I'm sort of learning and seeing what this guy is doing all the time. And at some point, you sort of know what's going on, although you don't hear what he's listening to on the headphones, but you know that it's a turntable, vinyl, needle, headphone, mixer, fader in, fader out, which was sort of like basic, you know. So as time went on, my brother had brought a turntable to the house. He had a friend that was a DJ, and he would literally just play vinyls one by one in the house, from our like house theater system. So when he left, I used to do the same thing. So I knew that when you put the needle at the beginning of the vinyl, that's where there's silence and then the song starts. So that's the first beat. And I got it. Oh, this is why this guy was like catching the first beat and letting it go. So I sort of got to get the gist of what it was that what this DJ was doing. And I started like playing around, fooling around at home. And I think fast forward to my first week in high school. I went to a high school called Sir Pierre van Reineveld in Kempton Park, in Ekurhuleni. So the first week of my high school week, I was taking different routes, like to see which one is shorter, which one is interesting, and I used to use the train to go to school. So I used to walk like, I think, 5Ks to the train station, catch a train and go to school, which today I do as gymming. But yeah. So I used to take different routes. And one day I took a route that went past a place called Swazi Inn in Tembisa. So I was walking down, minding my own business. And then I went past this house, and I could hear, man, like, because I was sort of like a bit clued up in terms of music and compilations. There was no compilation that we didn't have, like your Skidos, your Fresh, all of that, and I could hear from the music that was playing in like the garage that no, what's playing in there is definitely not a CD. It's not a CD. It's not a cassette. It's either this person is playing a mix that was done by someone else, or this person is mixing in that garage. So I stood outside and like I'm listening. I'm like, yes, this guy is like so dope. And then out of nowhere, this guy pops out, and he's like, dude, I've been seeing you, been standing outside and listening. Do you want to come in and check what we're doing? And I was like, yeah, yeah. I walked in and I get there and these guys have like turntables and like crates of vinyls. I was like, this is it. So I get there and already by then my school backpack had like my DJ name on it. It was like DJ Shimza. And then this guy checks my bag and he's like, so you're a DJ? And I'm like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. And he's like, okay, show us what you got. And because I had a bit of, self learning and understanding, I got there, took the vinyl, put it there like a professional. Put the vinyl there, first beat, da, da. Obviously, like my mix was not that perfect, but this guy sort of saw like, okay, he's not like a begin. He's a begin. So I can sort of like work with him. So from there, like every day, like after school, okay, now that was my route to like go back home. So every day I used to go there, practice every single day. Like literally after school, I was not that kid that went to go play soccer with other kids or play Mama Papa Lungwana. I was that guy that was playing with vinyls as a after school type of activity. So as I practiced and now I look back and I was like, that the practicing that we were doing was like I was learning from professional DJs, because these guys clearly were doing this for years before I met them, and that's why I could sort of like pick up from the outside. I'm sure if I was walking past that day and I could hear people playing horses, I would be on some that. I'm not gonna stand for this rubbish. But these guys were so good. They were like so dope that I was blessed to have people that were so competitive, were so like so finicky about the smallest things. And it helped me build who I am today because we used to like have random battles like amongst each other. Like, nah, man, I think I'm better than you in terms of my mixing skills and stuff. And we used to like, okay, cool, let's bring it on, put down turntables, let's go, and someone is judging. Little did I know that at that time it looked like we were pissing on each other, but it was something that was training me to work under pressure. So that practicing of every day created like some sort of urge to sort of be the best at what you were doing.